I want to start out with giving you a warning. This video is going to have some graphic footage from different riots happening around the country. And if that bothers you mentally, then maybe you should not watch this. But do you ever wonder what is actually going on in this country when it comes to Donald Trump versus Joe Biden? Because the media loves to tell one story. It is not necessarily accurate. It is not necessarily objective. It is not necessarily any version of the truth. So we're going to get into that. And then we're going to get into our YouTube rankings of the candidates to see who is actually winning. We've got 5 different factors here of people's actual behavior to understand what is going on. Instead of using a poll like this here from Emerson with 964 people that the media reports as being representative of what 300 plus million people think. Yeah, less than 1,000 people the media will report as being a representative sample size of what 300 plus million people think. I think it's about time for a change. We're going to get into all that in a moment. But first, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to frickin' see you. So, as I just showed you, these are polls actually collected from Real Clear Politics. So they aggregate them together so that they put them in one place so that you can say like, oh, look it, there's actually 8 polls that all say Biden's winning, right? And then they use that to manipulate the public. When, if you look at the foundational level of how the data is collected, we've done this in other videos, how the questions are asked, how you stratify the data. Stratifying data is essentially collecting data, manipulating the data to look like reality. That's literally what it is. So you just take data and you manipulate it to look like reality. So if you take data and manipulate it in one way, I can take the same data and manipulate it in another way. That is one of the reasons why we started doing these rankings, to understand the truth. What are Americans actually interested in? In 2020, attention is the currency. You need to be able to get your message out. And this is the first time in history where we have a voice, where it wasn't just 3 white old fucking dudes on television, ABC, NBC, and CBS, who could report on what was happening in the world. Today we have the internet, and that diversity of opinion is really coming to light in this video. So let's get into the first side of it. So this is from US News, and this is US lockdown protests may have spread virus widely. Cell phone data suggests. So this is from the US News, right? The Guardian. And they're talking about how protesters, you can see this person has a Make America Great hat, and people who don't agree with the lockdowns. And the news is just saying that, like, excuse me, this is spreading the virus. But on the next, this is from the Colorado Sun. Black Lives Matter protests may have slowed overall coronavirus in Denver. I am not making this up. This is hypocrisy. This is what I'm talking about. It is about time we raise our voice to absolute fucking nonsense. I don't care if you're on the left or the right. It doesn't matter. This is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And this is just one example. I've got a video here from, this is a short gentleman, what's his name? Nadler. He's somebody in the government, and he's the, I believe, the chair of the Judicial Committee or something like that. And hopefully you can hear this, but this is, he's getting interviewed here, and listen to his response. And then I'm going to show you the footage, so just beware, the footage is kind of graphic, and then we're going to get into the YouTube rankings with the 5 different factors. So when we get into that, just be aware, it might be a little bit graphic. So he's asking him about Antifa and the riots around the country, and specifically in Portland. Let me repeat that for you. That's a myth. This guy is completely fucking out in left field. Like, completely out in left field. He has no fucking idea what reality is. Zero idea. And again, remember, these videos I'm about to show you are not, you're not gonna find these videos shown in the media, right? Antifa trying to block the footage of somebody breaking into this store, right? Okay. We've got another one over here. This looks like it's an Apple store and them trying to break into the Apple store. This, I didn't even pull up the videos where you have Antifa members bringing rocks, bringing fireworks, and bringing like cocktail Molotov type things where they're filled with like some type of like flammable liquid and a rag, and setting these up and passing them out in the group. Do you know who funds that? George Soros. Let's take a look at some more footage. This next one is probably the worst one, or the one after this. This store owner here on the ground, he's a black store owner. Right, this gentleman right here. He was trying to protect his store, and he got attacked. And you can just see him there. That everybody's completely attacking him. There's lots of black gentlemen around there, and just getting completely attacked. Or right here, this is a actually let's start this video over again. But this lady right here, two guys are beating her. I have no idea the context of the situation, but you see this lady come out and this gentleman just sucker punch her in the face. And then this guy's probably trying to help protect her. Here, this is the beginning of the video. The lady right over here, she probably says something. This guy comes over, punches her. This dude in the black grabs like a 2x4 and starts fucking beating her. Like, what is going on? That this clown in fucking government can't like see reality. It's because they pay attention to this, right? The hypocrisy of the media that says, oh, if you go to a Trump thing, if you go out and protest not wearing a mask or the lockdown, you're an asshole, right? But if you go do it for BLM, oh, you're a glorious citizen. You have the right to do that. It's freedom of speech. What the fuck is going on? And then this old man here, Antifa's a myth. Open your fucking eyes. This is America, guys. We need to actually do something about this. Spread the word. Share this video. Like, these people are just absolutely moronic. Like, what is going on here? It doesn't make any sense. And that is why I did these videos. Every day of the week, 6 days a week, I release a different ranking for a different platform, looking at the actual data, people's behavior, to understand what is going on. And you can think of that as your boss sitting behind you, right? How is your behavior at work? Versus your boss is on vacation, and you know he's on vacation. What is your behavior? Two different scenarios, right? So what we did is we looked at Donald Trump's YouTube channel, and we looked at the total number of subscribers and the total number of views over the last 30 days to get an understanding of what is actually taking place, right? Who is actually winning. So let's look at subscribers first. So we have Donald Trump, 43,000, and Joe Biden, 25,000. So that one goes to Donald Trump pretty easily. But the next, in terms of total number of views over the last 30 days, this goes to Joe Biden. And so I dug a little bit into that, and that is, he released several videos with Obama, and the videos with Obama got a ton of views, and that is why that is. But if that's a strategy thing, then Biden should definitely increase the amount of exposure Obama gets, because I don't think a lot of people actually honestly believe that Biden would is like capable of running a country. I mean, like, let alone a shoebox. Like, I don't know if it's like, is that like elderly abuse? In all honesty, like, if you look at the videos, and I don't care if you're left or right, like, is because we know he's not going to be doing anything, right? I think we all agree with that. Like, he's not going to actually be running the country. So, like, is that elderly abuse because they're just taking advantage of him to try to get him into office so that they can get him to office? I don't know. And they're just going to let him fucking run into a wall, like, with what he says and so. I don't know. In this case, he's winning, right? He is definitely winning. He has more views, and he's got a significantly amount more, right? He's got 4,000 plus, 4 million plus more views here. The next is from the largest search engine in the planet, Google, and also the largest website in the planet. So this is over the last 30 days on the web in the United States. We searched for the terms Donald Trump YouTube and Joe Biden YouTube to see who had more search volume, right? And we get to see that Trump had 58% of all the search volume for those two terms versus 42% roughly for Joe Biden. Again, another win for Trump. This next one, which is the influencers. So this is the top 10 videos over the last 30 days with, so you just go into, when you go to YouTube, you can actually scroll through and you can search and filter, right? Because I want to give you all the data where I'm getting it so that you can go do this research yourself. So you look at this one is for the next ranking of this, but the influencers are just the people who are releasing videos on the candidates, right? So they have to have Donald Trump in the title and or the thumbnail. Same thing with Biden, the likeness and or their name in the title. And this is just the top 10 videos by view count. 31 million views, right? These are other people who are talking about Trump. 31 million views, right? An increase of about 500,000 views from last week when we did this. So make sure you press that subscribe button and that bell notification so you can get the next video when it drops on Monday. Biden, he went from 12.42 million views to 12.86 million views. So they both had an increase, but there's a big delta between those two, and that would go to Trump on that one. It's also interesting too because when you think about 2020, if you say are starting a company and you want to sell these shaker cups, you need attention. You need to be able to garner attention, right? And positive attention and negative attention help because it creates more awareness. So if you think for a second, like Joe Biden, everybody thinks he's got dementia, right? Does he or does he not? I have no idea. But if people keep talking about Joe having dementia and he gets, say, 1.5 million more people to look at him, right? Maybe 1.6 or 1.4 will think that, yeah, that's accurate. He does have dementia, right? But he just gained another 100,000 of supporters. And they're like, no, what are you guys talking about? He doesn't have dementia at all. He's got this other thing and he's 77 years old. Like that's perfectly normal. That's normal to speak like that or start like whatever. I don't know, whatever justification is out there, right? And he gets another 100,000 people because people were talking about him negatively. So the thing works both ways. There's also in sociology and in psychology, there's research out there that it's called the familiarity bias. And what the familiarity bias is if you go to the store and you're going to pick up laundry detergent, what is the thing that you're just like, yeah, I need laundry detergent. Somebody, you're going to go grab it, right? Just arbitrarily, you just need laundry detergent. You're not thinking about anything else. You just tend to grab whatever you're familiar with. Tide, for example, a lot of people's minds associate laundry detergent with Tide. So that is a very popular grab for people. And the same thing happens in everything you do. So if somebody has a stupid amount more attention, right? Like if Biden can continue this at 9 million or accelerate that to get that up higher, like that's going to be helpful for him tremendously. It's going to be helpful for the subscribers because we can see the videos were released in the last week, before the last week, right? So they continue to gain additional attention because he had almost 6.1 million views last week when we did this versus 4.5 for Trump. So he was leading and he's actually extended that lead. So some people are going to be like, oh, man, this guy's fucking, what is going on right now, right? And then there's going to be a lot of other people who are going to be like, oh, man, this guy reminds me of my uncle. That's awesome. I want this guy. Like I support like defunding the police and I support all this other stuff, right? So the attention is the game. And you look at some of these other metrics like search volume, right? You need to have the attention of the public to be able to do this. And this is what the media is losing. I don't call them news media because news has connotations associated with it that there's some type of accuracy or truth or objectivity, right? If you look at the ethical standards associated with journalism, right, those are some of the things that they reference. Factual data, you source stuff, right? And that is not what's going on. I touched on a different one yesterday from the New York Times, I believe it was. So let's move on to the last category. So this is kind of interesting too, because the comparison relative to each other is interesting, but also the comparison in a time series is interesting. So we get to see, this is the total number of videos that have been released over the last hour on YouTube. Just 1 hour, and then I just go through and count them myself to get a gauge, a really close pulse of like what is happening. And you can see that there's a giant volume of content that is being created like live over the last hour. 55 videos. And they had to have Trump in the title and or the likeness of Trump, or the same thing with Joe Biden. And you get to see that Trump went from 25 videos over the last hour to 55 videos over the last hour. A big increase versus Biden went from 8 people's videos to, I'm sorry, from 10 people creating videos to 8. So there's a big discrepancy of information in terms of this is actual people's behavior. What then again is reported over here is different. I'd like to know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. If you support the truth, if you support spreading the accurate representation of reality, share this video with somebody, press that thumbs up button. It really does help out the channel. I appreciate you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.